Huh.
What are you doing?
Looking at myself in your reflection. I can't help you put a mirror on the front of your helmet. It makes me want to look at me. That was about pitiful.
I would say back to that Walmart spot or that little area of the Catawba.
It's up to you. You pick one. Let's head that direction.
We'll go get that jambalaya shit again.
Yeah, let's do that. Is it jambalaya or jambalaya? I don't know. Let's head there. Alrighty. So we just left Best Buy to get me a little adhesive mount to hook this camera so I could show y'all what it's like to ride on the back. Because I think it's a lot different than driving. So I thought it would be funny to do a little video showing you what it's kind of like to sit in the back. And we're on our way right now to hopefully go get some food if we can get out of traffic in Hickory. Alrighty, so we're moving. I'm going to try not to turn my head a lot. I have a bad habit of looking every direction. As the advantage of sitting back here is I can just look around. As long as I'm holding on, I'll be okay. It's starting to get a little cold. It's getting later in the evening. I think a high today was like upper 40s, something like that. So it's probably getting into the low 40s now. And for us Southerners, that's cold. So hopefully get to a restaurant, eat, and then get to the house here shortly. And hopefully get out of town so we're not sitting at lights the whole time. Because ain't nothing fun about that. I'm hoping that y'all don't just stare at the back of country here who's trying to switch lanes on us. We'll kind of see how this goes. I just thought we've seen a ton of videos. He shows me all these videos, all these moto vloggers, and it's always the front people, and I was like, well, you know, I don't ever drive, so I'm always on the back. So I was like, I'd love to know what somebody sitting on the back is thinking about when they're riding instead of just, you know, the ones who get to drive. So he said, well, let's just strap that camera to you and do it, and let's see what it looks like. So it's kind of what we're testing out here, and kind of see what it's like to be, what the camera view is from the back. And hopefully it's not exactly just country's helmet, because that's what I look at a lot. And I accidentally hit it a lot if I'm scooted up too close, and he takes off, my helmet butts his, and that's pretty miserable. So I've been trying to do a better job of just sitting back. But these little teeny seats here in the back ain't worth a damn, so they're not as comfortable as the big one he gets to sit in. So I'm always tempted to scoot up and try to steal some of his seat room. Another light there. There's Krispy Kreme. That place is awesome. If y'all, I don't know, I think they're getting them up north now too, but way better than Dunkin' Donuts. So if you are in the South, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, and you come down here, you need to stop at a Krispy Kreme first one you see and get them hot and ready, because there ain't nothing like a donut's hot and ready. Big line of traffic is probably like everybody else's line, which is always headed to the Walmart. That's our most popular area shopping around here, and that's where everybody's headed. The worst part about the cold right now is my hands. They get so cold, because usually my chest and back and legs and stuff are all warm, but my hands freeze to death. It's, I guess, because I'm holding on with it and the wind's hitting, I'm holding his chest and then the hand, you know, wind's hitting my hand or whatever. And I don't have like winter gloves, I guess, because, you know, how many months do we actually have winter down here? So my hands just end up freezing. So usually by the time we get there, I'm like, man, buy some hot hands and stick in there so at least they won't get so cold, because it gets hard to even hold on. Sometimes it just starts getting real cold, especially in the dark right now. So I try to just switch hands up every once in a while and keep one kind of to the side, or bring it back behind for a little bit and let it warm up some. So in terms of riding, I haven't, I've been riding about as much as the country has. I've rode, obviously when I was little, but not a ton since then. And for me, the big thing at first was like just getting used to where to sit and not feeling so uncomfortable in the back, because it kind of feels like, if you ever rode like a jet ski, it kind of feels like you're gonna fall off the back, because this bike don't have like a sissy bar or nothing, so it kind of feels like I'm gonna fall off the back if I lean too far to the back or scoot too far back. So then I'm kind of like pushed up on them. So it took a while to kind of get used to where I could not feel so tight, like I had to be pushed up against them. So that was kind of a big thing. And then the other one was not to wear my hair down, because I have really long hair, and if you wear it down, it gets in massive knots, and you'll spend 30 minutes at wherever you're headed to brushing all your knots out. So like I usually put it in a low bun or whatever, so that would be my biggest recommendation to any girl is, God, put your hair up and bring a hairbrush, because it's usually two of the things I'm always forgetting, and it's really annoying to forget. So I usually try to put it up in a bun, and then it's not so knotted and it avoids all the knots. And that's been nice. Another thing was like, my perception of being a girl on the back was kind of like the hot chicks, short shorts, and looking all cute like you do at the beach, and that wasn't gonna happen. Country was dead set on me gearing up like the Marshmallow Man, so now I'm like, trying not to dressed up where I'm in, big jacket and pants and boots and gloves, and which right now in the cold it's friggin' amazing, because it's way too cold to be out here in shorts. But it's different than what you're picturing when you're like what I was wanting to do and what I was thinking of when he was like, I'm getting a bike, and I was like, oh awesome, I want to be the hot chick on the back. Not so much. You're more in pants and suited up, and I'm not complaining. I'm sure if we ever go down, I'll be glad I'm wearing a jacket, but it wasn't the image I was thinking of at first. But in terms of just riding, it's fun. I really like riding the back. It doesn't really bother me too bad not being the driver. I don't get to drive as often, ride it as often as he does, so it kind of doesn't make too much sense for me to worry about learning and trying to get on it right now, because I just don't have the time to dedicate to doing it. So it's just nice to get out, ride around. My family, we always grew up riding around. We did it in cars mostly, but we'd always go for rides and do stuff and just drive around and look at stuff. And the bike kind of seems to really, be made for that kind of thing, the driving around, just looking around, seeing what's going on, and hanging out, not really doing much. So I just looking and kind of enjoying being out of the house. So for the back, I turn, in my opinion, it's just as good as the front for that kind of stuff. So I've really enjoyed that part. There's another good place, I think it's mostly southern. You got the Bojangles, I know that's southern, and it's, gosh, them freaking seasoned fries, best damn fries you can get in fast food. And then Cookout over there has, I don't know, 50 milkshake options or something. That place is great, and they got chili cheese hot dogs. That's a place to eat right there, and they're fast and cheap. You can get like a hot dog and a hamburger and fries and a drink for like $5. It's a ton of food, and that's good. That's like my favorite fast food place to eat at if we ain't gonna sit down to eat, is that Cookout. It's nice. It's always slammed though. So we've been living out here around this area, like Catawba and stuff, Hickory, Conover, Claremont, that around that area, for about 10 years now. I guess it's been about 10 years. We're from down in Denver and Sherrills Ford area, so it's not like we moved too far. That we moved kind of up and further up north in terms of where we're at in the Catawba County stuff, and we've really liked it. It's nice. It's more country oriented than up, getting closer into the Charlotte area. But you know, we'd ideally live further out, but the reason, you know, I work as a software developer, so you can't really afford to, can't go too far until we get some companies on board with just letting me work from the house. I gotta stay at least within driving distance, and it, you know, it's a rough drive as it is now to get into Charlotte. I'd probably drive an hour and a half every day one way. So, you know, you're looking at 3 hours on the road just to get to and from work. So, you know, and that's actual driving, not sitting in traffic. You're like, you know, that's 60 miles one way, something like that. So you know, we kind of tried to find a way in between to get to the country and more out, and, you know, away from all the city style, lots of people, lots of houses, lots of stuff, more out in the country, but still had to stay somewhat relatively close just to, for, you know, jobs and stuff. So, because you're further out in the country, the harder it is on jobs. So, and as a software developer, they're pretty much non-existent. So, you know, we kind of moved out here, and this is kind of our middle way, and it's been nice. We really like it. It's a real nice area, real nice people. I kind of like having the little small town, one little restaurant they finally opened up down in here to go eat, and that kind of stuff. I don't really mind being, you know, 30 minutes from a grocery store. None of that bothers me too much. And we don't really grocery shop but once a month anyway, so all that kind of works out. So I kind of like it. I think it's real pretty. Everybody's kind of slower. Nobody's in a hurry as much out here, as versus like when I go into Charlotte for work. Everybody's always trying to shove you out of the way, and, you know, don't do anything. You know, common courtesy seem to go out the window. So I kind of like it out this direction more, in the slower paced stuff. People more not in a hurry, and polite and helpful and things like that. So, you know, yeah, I'm big fan of the country living kind of thing. So I think we're getting pretty close to the restaurant here. This place is really cool. It's like it's not really, I guess it's not a restaurant as much as like a tavern. It has a bar in the evenings, and then during the day they serve food, and like a cafe style kind of thing. But they cook all kinds of really good food in there, so it's usually where we go eat if we're gonna eat somewhere local. Not much for the chain stuff. We like more of the little hole in the walls. I'm sure country's probably talked about Drums before, because that's our big place for hamburgers. That's like our favorite place to eat, and our kids love that place, so that's usually where we go. But if we don't have the kids, we kind of stop by this little tavern here and stop in and get some food. They got this really awesome bar that some like the 1800s, and it's like pure mahogany, and it's beautiful, and it's really nice people in there, and quiet, and sometimes they have live music and stuff, so it's kind of neat. So that's where I think we're headed, because looks like we're coming into town now. So either way, I guess I'm gonna log off with that and let y'all kind of see as we pull in up here, because we're probably 2 minutes away at the most.